Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, and we're going to do a quick card today using the Flower Fusions Paper Tray Inks Flower Fusion dies and stamp set. I'm going to be using the flower from the Fusion 1 stamp set and the stem from the Fusion 2, and we're going to, I think we're going to stamp this Hi There sentiment too. So let's get started. I have my Cuttlebug out. I'm going to go ahead and run my die through my Cuttlebug, and I just need to grab my plates here. So I'm going to use plate A, plate C, and then I'm going to need a B plate as well. So let me just get out my die here. Alright, so I have my die. I have a piece of, this is Paper Tray Inks Vintage Cream cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. We'll just go ahead and run it through our Cuttlebug. Alright, I'm going to get my Cuttlebug out of the way here. And there is our die cut piece. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my little flower, and I have this flower that goes with the die, and it lines up perfectly, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that. Now I have a piece of scratch paper here because I want to stamp off, so I'm just going to use some Lemon Tart Paper Tray ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink up my stamp, and then I'm going to stamp onto my piece of scratch paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and line it up and stamp onto my cutout piece. Okay, so that is our little cutout piece there. So let me just get I'm going to clean my stamp off. I just use baby wipes to clean off my stamps. Alright, slide that piece off there. It's still a little wet from the ink. And then our card is going to measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I have my card base here, and there's a motorcycle going by. And I'm just going to go ahead and score on the score line. So I'm just going to score at 4 1/4. And then I'll go ahead and fold this and do a nice crease. So that's our card base. And then I did a little sewing before I started the video, and I just took a piece of the same color Vintage Cream cardstock and just did some kind of crazy sewing on my piece of cardstock, and this piece measures 4 by 4, and that's going to go right onto the top of my card. First thing I want to do is I'm going to stamp right onto my card here, and I'm going to stamp the stem from the Flower Fusions number 2, and I'm going to use my Simply Chartreuse ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my flower just down in the corner. Just need a little bit more ink there. Oh. Let's see if we can line this back up and try again. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and just dry this a little bit with my heat gun. Alright, so that is my flower. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a pop dot on the back of my piece that I cut out here. That's my little flower. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals here. And I'm going to go ahead and add that right to the back. And that's going to layer right onto my stem, just like that. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take my little Hi There sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that right down here in the bottom. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Up! Chocolate chip ink for that. Just ink up our sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that right down in the bottom, right next to my flower. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just add some dimensionals to the back of this. So I'm just keeping this really simple. And then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and layer this right into the center of our card. Just like that. Okay, so I just want to add one more little detail to this, and I've never used this before. It's Enamel Accents. It's dimensional enamel, and this is black, and this is by Ink Essentials. So I'm just going to go ahead and, it might be hard to see on the video, but there's a little like dotted area right in the middle, so I thought I would just go ahead and put this right into the middle of my flower. So let me just grab my scrap paper and get it started before I try it. There we go. So all I'm doing is just squeezing a little bit and then dotting. Okay, so I went ahead and did all the little dots around the center of the flower, and I did mess up just a little bit, and I don't know, maybe I'll cut another one and put it out. But that is my card for today. Thanks for watching another episode of Creations with Christina. See you next time. Bye.